Tallad Azad is an energy expert and the CEO of Storelectric Limited. It's a UK-based energy company. He joins us from Manchester. Tallad, thank you so much for your time. It's bad now. Is it going to get much worse?
It could do. I mean, I mentioned this a few months ago when I spoke to your colleague that there are no really short-term fixes here. Now, of course, Nord Stream is a bit of a problem, but stockpiling large amounts of gas, which is what the European Union has done, up to 71 capacity, is a step in the right direction. But it has led to high cost of living. Also, my big fear is that if the winter is an extended winter and it's a very cold winter with low wind, we really have serious problems ahead of us in the next few months. But there are solutions, longer-term solutions that we really need to investigate now.
Yes, but in the short term, people are going to be concerned about the winter that's coming, of course. Reuters is saying that European prices have gone up nearly 400% over the past year. What are the short-term fixes here, Tallad?
Well, in the UK, I mean, the price of gas has gone from, I think it's now 700 pence per therm. It was about 80 or 90 pence per therm, actually about 18 months ago. So it's a much bigger increase. I think what we've got to do is really look at either rehabilitating some of the existing fossil plants, but that's a short-term measure, using nuclear, which is also a measure which is probably not going to be long-term because the amount of uranium is quite limited. We've got to look at maximizing the renewable energy that we have. And to do that in the right way requires really large-scale, long-duration storage where we can store the energy, either using pumped hydro or what is being used today is compressed air energy storage, which is the technology the company I work for champions.
What about other sources in terms of, we've seen prime ministers and presidents traveling around the world and shaking hands because they want to get more energy from the leader they're meeting with. You know, okay, you think of Azerbaijan, you think of maybe Algeria, where the French president recently was, Emmanuel Macron. Where is the alternative source if it's not going to be Russia?
Well, that, again, a good question. I mean, it's a question of do we want in Europe to be dependent upon third-party supplies and to be dependent, which is even worse, upon fossil fuels? Now, of course, the Gulf is one possibility. The US is also an exporter of natural gas, parts of North Africa, Nigeria. But what I think we've got to really do is say to ourselves that we've got to get away from that dependence and become independent. And again, the right solution to this is to maximize the deployment of renewable energy. Really finding fossil fuels in other locations is really not going to resolve our problems in the medium or the long term, because on top of the energy crisis, we've got the climate crisis. So this has got to be addressed using the right technology. And what's interesting, I think what studies have shown is the amount of irradiation, solar irradiation levels coming onto the Earth from the sun, they're enough to power the world 3 or 4 times over. The question that we've got is how can we best harness that energy?
Yeah, Tallad, you're making me think back to that project that I think Siemens, the German conglomerate, was involved in. They were going to build a huge solar farm in the Sahara Desert, and it was possibly going to be able to provide Europe with energy for a whole year just after receiving sun for about 3 weeks. We're going to leave it there, Tallad. Let's see what happens. And, you know, your drive towards renewables is obviously something that many people will be encouraged by, but it may take time, of course. Tallad Azad speaking to us from the United Kingdom. Take care.